Hello. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's talk for a moment about mental and physical stimulation. The eyes are stimulated by what it sees. The senses are stimulated by what arouses it. The nose, the tongue, the taste buds, the ears, what it hears. The body is stimulated by touch. The brain is stimulated by conversation, knowledge, information. All of these things are important, some more important than others. And we have to make sure that we're being stimulated in the right manner, that we're getting enough stimulation. So the brain is a very important part of the body, and it needs constant stimulation. You have to constantly be seeking knowledge. You have to constantly be putting things into the brain to keep it sharp, to keep it functioning, to keep it going. When you shut off knowledge from the brain, it tends to shut off other things within you. If you're not learning, the lack of learning hinders progression. You have to always be open to learning new things. It's very important. You have to allow the brain the opportunity to take in vital information. You have to be able to decipher things that are negative that will corrupt and defile the brain. The body needs to feel some form of stimulation. The body needs to be touched. The body needs to be felt. The body needs to, to be soothed. It's a beautiful thing, physical stimulation. It's beautiful. We stimulate ourselves with doing exercise, love making, you know, doing different physical activities. And it's a beautiful thing. We can't overdo the physical. We can't work on the physical so much that we forget the mental and how important it is. A lot of us are drawn by physical attraction, what you see. Some people are blinded just by the outward appearances and don't take in consideration the inner. Well, the inner stimulation is the most important. If you're with someone and they can't mentally stimulate you, you're lacking. Your growth, you're not progressing in growth. It amazes me how even some of us as grown people are stuck on childish things. And it makes me question where you are mentally. It's crazy how we're drawn so much to the physical aspect of a human being that we don't take in consideration what they hold here. The importance of knowledge, the importance of what they have in their mental gets, we put that on a lower standard when it should be the highest standard. The important things in any relationship is the communication. The communication, how you interact with each other. If I can't communicate with you, the likelihood of us being successful in any relationship, whether it's business or personal, it's slim. Because that is the foundation of everything. Communication. You have to be able to communicate. I've had many relationships, and looking back on those relationships, I can say that very few men knew how to mentally stimulate me because their only concern was the physical. Now, they were good in bed, but what does that get us in the end? We need to be able to work on things, rationalize things, talk about things, build on things. And the only way to do that is communication. But if you can't communicate, there's no way we can move forward. We're at a standstill. The basis of our relationship is strictly physical because that's the only thing that's keeping us together. We as people have to understand that there are more things, more important things to life than just laying in the bed and getting your rocks off. More important things to life. Sex is a wonderful thing. It's great when it's shared with someone that you care about. Random sex is just that. The likelihood of the feelings and emotions and all of that good stuff that's supposed to be there, being there, is slim. Sex was not intended to be a random thing. You know? It was intended to be something special shared between a man and a woman who loves each other. You know. It's furthering the bond between two individuals. When we don't put to the forefront the most important things, we are in fact doing a disjustice to ourselves and our partners. Mostly everything that I talk about will be a partner thing because everyone, we all need someone, right? You can't make it out here alone. So you being better for you in turn makes you better for your mate, whether you have one now or down the line. This is a preparation if you don't have one now. It surely preps me. It gets me to thinking about all the important things, putting it to the forefront of my mind. We have to be conscious of all things. We have to be conscious of the pros and the cons that come with stimulation, the lack of, and the excess, being excessive in it. We can be blinded by mental because it goes into where people comes off, it's kind of like a brainwash thing where people, you get so blinded by another person's belief, you lose sight of yourself. You have to find the balance in all things. Sexual, physical, you can get blinded, whereas your whole existence is based on the need to feel physically. And I think that's where a lot of people go into these addictions with sex. I once used to think that I had an addiction with sex, because I needed to feel, it was important for me to feel. And speaking from experience, the communication piece was not there the way it should have been. My way of dealing and with an issue, resolving an issue, began and with ended with sex. You know, you mad, we make up. That's how we make up. We never talk about the issue. We never resolve the issue. We replace the communication and the mental with physical. So everything began and ended with sex. And it was no good. It was no good because the whole basis of our relationship was just that, sex. So it's no wonder that we didn't get further in the relationship. It's no wonder. We never gave ourselves a chance or an opportunity. So when you come together, both men and women, you have to have it in your mind that yes, the sex part is nice, and we all desire that. But the most important thing to keep our relationship going strong is how we mentally communicate and interact with each other. And we have to be peaceful and understanding and compassionate in doing so. Some men, I find that their interests are all they want to talk about. And they never really engage you in your own interests. And if you bring it up, it's a brief conversation. And then they're right back on the things that's most important or that interest them the most, such as sports, cars, money, other affairs that doesn't concern you. And 9 times out of 10 doesn't concern them, talking about what happened at their man house and this and that. I consider that, and it's nice to engage in conversation with your man and listen to him when he wants to talk about topics that interest him. But if that's all we ever talk about, I consider that meaningless chatter. We have to have more things to discuss than those things. You know, I've been in some relationships what I would consider my most serious relationships, and we never talked about those real issues. You know, I remember one time being in a relationship, and I was just not feeling myself or anything else, and I wanted to leave the job that I had, and I went to my mate, and I asked his opinion on it. And the only thing that he could offer me is if that's what you want to do. Now, I don't know if, he just didn't want to deal with the topic, he didn't care, or he didn't know how to respond. Maybe he wasn't equipped, with what he needed to be equipped with to help me. Because you can't help someone if you're not in a good space. But I look back after making that decision, um, going to my mate, and him just saying, if that's what you want to do, you know. And now looking back on it, I understand that I needed more than if that's what you wanted to do. As my mate, we should have been able to sit down and talk and rationalize. And as my mate, you should have been the voice of reasoning to say, no, that's not a good idea. I don't think you should do that for X, Y, and Z reasons. And put things out there so that I can look at things, look at our big picture as a whole and be able to make a better decision, a more rash decision. And I didn't do that. And it's totally on me. But I assess a little responsibility to him because as my mate, it's your responsibility to make sure that I'm making good decisions, especially those decisions that affect us as a unit, because we're in this together. So we have to build in ourselves and understand that the best thing to in a relationship is the mental stimulation and how you interact with your mate. I love it when a man engages me and likes to talk about the things that's important to me. I like a lot of things. I love feeding the homeless. So I love talking about ways that we can better, ways that I can better, ways that we can try to help this situation when it comes to homelessness because it's such a big issue. And I like part of that also is not only for you to listen and give some input on it, but also supports me in it. You know, I would like to know that things that I'm interested in, you're interested in it too. Not so much to the point that I am, but just because I'm your mate, and that's how you show your love and your support for me by going out with me on days, maybe not all the time, but helping me, assisting me, being by my side. Um, that's important. I like sitting down, just having basic conversations about life issues because it helps me. It helps me after making so many bad decisions. And now I'm at a point where I do a lot of reflection. And I would love for my man to be able to sit and talk to me and reflect with me, Because what it does, even though those are past decisions, it helps with my future. It helps to make sure that I'm not making the same mistakes, that I don't go backwards. So we have to sit down and have these conversations. Um, I'm more stimulated mentally. I hate when the whole conversation, especially when you meet people I've seen or from my experience, most of the conversation after you get past the basic getting to know you, um, goes into random things that have no importance. That has no importance. And we do have other things to talk about. Now, me personally, myself, I'm a in front of your face person. I would much rather talk to you in front of your face. You get more from me and more out of me because I like to look at expressions and feel your presence and so on and so forth when we're having these conversations. Um, but a lot of people, once you get past the how do you do's and and what you're about, it goes from that to the sex area so quickly. So quickly. And I can speak on this because I know. I used to be there, you know. Um, Me being a female has nothing to do with the fact that um, I could just be in the presence of a man and like you and be feeling you. And yeah, we getting to know each other, but in my mind, in the back somewhere, a lot of times, I'm thinking about what that thing do down there. And men do it too. Men do it too. Probably more men do it than women. I probably am a special breed. I don't know. But yeah, now because that's not at the forefront of my mind, when I'm interacting with someone, I think about how they're going to be a few months from now, a few years from now, you know, how their character might change and things of that nature, because those are things that's really important, you know. So I spend more time studying individuals than ever before. And that mentally stimulates me too, because even when I'm not in your presence, I'm still in my mental dissecting the things that we talked about, dissecting you and getting to know you even out of your presence. And that makes for a better relationship. That makes for a stronger foundation to build your decision on, as far as if this person is the person that you want to ultimately be with, over a long period of time, ultimately for life. Because when I'm you know when I meet someone, if I like you, I start going into that. I don't think about, we gonna be dating for 5 years from now. No, 5 years from now we need to be married. Probably way before then. But no, it's just how I'm fashioned. I don't have time to waste because I know life is short. Time is limited. So either you coming together to play or you coming together to build. And if you're coming together to build, then both of you all know that the end, what our end goal is marriage. That's our end goal. So we come in working towards the end goal. You know, it don't take 5 years for you to decide that this is no. I don't understand how people be together all that time and still haven't made a decision on whether they're going to marry or not marry. It baffles me, but you know, I'm upfront with my feelings. I put it out there because it lessens the chances for games. I have no time for games. I don't play any with you. You don't play any with me. That's how we do that. So, mental versus physical, though the physical is great, the mental is superior. The mental should be your highest standard. If you can't be stimulated mentally, then you need to be rethinking the relationships that you're in because it's important to have that mental stimulation. It helps not only to build you and your partner, it helps for you all to build as a couple having that. And like I said, not only in your personal life, but also in your business life, you know, all the way around. I I take a lot of time with myself and I do a lot of thinking on purpose. because I want to get to know me as a person. So myself, I'm mentally in tune with me and what makes me tick, things that I don't like, so on and so forth. Um, so when I see those things, I kind of pull back a little bit, which is a natural reaction for someone who's been in a bad situation the greater part of her life. As a woman, it's refreshing to have a man that comforts you, that understands you, that takes time with you, that's patient with you, that's understanding. Um, that has a level of sensitivity to you and the things that you go through. Because we women, we come with our own stuff. And men sometimes are so hard, they're not used to that, and they don't know how to soften up, to accommodate us. And I think about the time when now I have some anxiety issues. So I had this friend one time. I don't like bugs. And sometimes if I'm not careful, it'll go into a hole, like just it'll get real bad. Um, I'll make a whole big deal out of it. And I understand in my mind that it's not so serious, but initially it doesn't register with me. So I have to talk myself down and bring myself back sometimes. So I had a friend one time. There was a bug and it was on me. And I'm like going crazy because I don't want the bug on me. And he like, why you doing all of that? It's just a bug. It is just a bug. It most certainly is just a bug. But to me and what I'm going through right now is more than a bug. It's flaring up something inside of me that I don't have control over it. So you being insensitive to how I'm feeling about this bug, it really made me feel some kind of way, right? I mean, I've been bit by bugs and people. It's just that serious. We'll have that conversation about the bites later. But I don't want any bugs on me. I don't want any bugs biting me. And any bug that comes around me, that's what I automatically think, that it's going to bite me. And it causes some discomfort in me. And if I'm not careful and remind myself that it's going to be fine, it'll play. It's mental. Everything is mental. If I don't get myself mentally in check, it will stay there and it will dwell on me, and it'll breed something worse. Like sometimes bug, right? The bug long gone, but because it was there, I'm still looking for it. I'm still checking. And I got to keep reminding myself the bug is gone. The bug is gone. But it's not so easy sometimes. People have a lot of different things that they're dealing with, and your insensitivity doesn't help the situation. So we have to learn how to deal with people. You know, the best thing to have done in that situation was just to assure me that the bug is gone, it's off, and it's fine. But you created a whole nother problem in my mind with your insensitivity. So when we're interacting with people, we have to understand that they come with their own stuff. We have to, come down to their level sometimes. Come down to their level sometimes and understand and show some sense of compassion to the things that they're going through. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know. You can get on my level when it's time to lay in the bed, but you can't get on my level when we standing up. We have to fix that. We have to learn how to interact with each other and bring some comfort to each other. Bring some understanding. Be supportive towards each other. It's very important. So the mental stimulation is greater than anything. Greater than anything. Someone just telling you, you good. You can do that. Because sometimes you have your little self-doubts and things of that nature. And just to have someone reassuring you that the road that you're traveling, you're doing the right thing, you're moving in a positive direction, so on and so forth, that stimulates you mentally, and it makes you want to keep moving forward. It makes you want to keep striving. When someone tells you after you don't put yourself through a whole lot trying to help, just for someone to say thank you, it stimulates you mentally, that makes you want to keep helping, keep moving forward, keep doing what you're doing. When someone tells you I love you, when you're putting in all the work in this relationship and you're doing everything that you possibly can for this person, and just to know that they care, it moves you forward. So the mental stimulation that we give to ourselves and others give to us is very, very, very important. And we need to learn how to build on that. We need to learn how to comfort people. We need to learn how to be there and support people and help them. And it all starts with just something kind to say. Doing something kind, being understanding, listening, offering some good advice. All of those things help us. It helps to move us forward, stimulate us mentally, help us to mentally keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. And that's the process of life, to keep moving forward through it all. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. It's very important. Okay? So mental is greater than physical stimulation. We need to stimulate each other every day as well as ourselves. All right? MJK.